Hello everyone, it's Sherry from Mature Beauty Studio, and I wanted to come on today and talk to you a little bit about summer makeup. So summer makeup is a little bit different than the makeup we do the rest of the year. First of all, we get kind of hot, we're sweaty, we're outside, and we want our makeup to look fresh all day long. So there's a few new tips and techniques that I'm going to show you to maintain that beautiful summer glow without looking like a hot mess. And secondly, we want to also consider our sunscreen and how important it is to put that on before we're outside. So I just want to touch upon the importance of using sunscreen along with your makeup. So let's get started. Today I'm working out of this little double-decker compact. The first layer has my color correction, my highlights, my contour, an illuminator, and a bronzer all in one palette. And then the second level, I have 3 lip and cheek colors, and I have some eyeshadows, one I'm going to use for a liner, and then I have a vanilla dust setting powder, which is also super important in the summer. So first things first, let's talk about sunscreen. Now, I've been a girl who over the years has not used sunscreen, and when I got into my 50s, all of a sudden I got these spots and age spots and a lot of damage to my skin. So I'm a true convert now, and I'm telling you, it's really important to use your sunscreen. So find a good sunscreen. There's plenty of them on the market. If you're looking for one that's more accessible, that you can get at Target or CVS or Walgreens, the Neutrogena brands are really good. If you want to spend a little bit more, Elta MD and Supergoop make a really good sunscreen as well. And those you can get at an Ulta, Sephora, and you can probably order them online too. So put your sunscreen on. I always recommend putting it on probably 10 minutes before you apply your makeup. That's going to give it some time to kind of settle into your skin and not have, any oily residue when you put your makeup on. So next thing we're going to go into is a little color correction. So even though it's summer, and I want a really light application of makeup, I still have to do some color correction. I still have my under eye darkness. I still have this big spot. So first thing I want to do is go into my color correction color. And sometimes we call this a camo color too because it camouflages. And I'm using my detail brush today just because it has a really small end. And I just dip it in just so slightly. You can barely see how much makeup I have on. And I'm going to just go ahead and touch some of those spots with that color correction. You can see how that just really takes care of that. So if I have any redness, discoloration, I basically just tap it on. That's all you need. Next area I'm going to do is my under eye area. And I can either do this with a brush or I can do it with my fingertips. So I usually choose my ring finger. That finger is going to give us the lightest amount of pressure. So I'm simply going to tap my ring finger in just a slight bit of that color correction. Color I'm using today is called Mango, which is perfect for me because it neutralizes those kind of bluish purple under eyes that I have. So I'm simply just tapping the tiniest amount of product, and you can already see the difference between this under eye and that under eye. It's kind of amazing what color correction does. You don't have to layer on a ton of concealer. You're just neutralizing your color. You can see my lids are also very discolored. So I'm just going to tap a little of that Mango on there, get rid of that discoloration. And then I also have a lot of broken capillaries down here on my chin. So I'm just going to tap into those spots. And again, less is more. I think when people get started with Seint, they're used to using other foundation and they put too much on. So I always say start with just the tiniest amount where you feel like you can barely see it, because this stuff is so pigmented, you don't need much. Okay, so now I've kind of gotten those spots neutralized and I can go in with my regular makeup. And again, I mentioned I don't want to have a lot of makeup on because it's summer. So I'm going to go with a super light application. And it all depends on the brush you're using, how much you're applying. A lot of times I love my buff brush, which is this one. It's got a kind of angled end and very dense bristles. So this will give you a nice full coverage. But during the summer, if I want really light, I'm going to go with the lightest brush there is. And this one is called the blend brush. So it has a very light, fluffy end. You can see the bristles aren't that tight. So what that's going to do is give me an application that's very light. So I'm going to go into my main foundation color, my main highlight. I'm going to tap the big end of that blend brush in there, and I'm going to go and just softly just kind of buff in that color. And this is going to give me the ever so lightest little coverage. You won't even see you're wearing makeup. I mean, honestly, this is just going to take care of any discoloration I have, but not even look like makeup. I love this because even with the other brushes, this always just looks like your skin. You can still see the texture of your skin, which we want. We don't want it to be hidden, but it's just a really soft, they call it a 3D makeup because that's really what it does. It gives you the three-dimensional by using the contours and the brightening highlights. So you can see this is just giving me very nice coverage, but super light. So next I'm going to go in and I'm going to do just a little contour today. Even though we're going light, we still want to have that dimension to our face. So again, I'm going with a detail brush that has a perfect end for doing contour. And I'm feeling where my cheekbone is and just kind of tapping right there. So you can see what that's going to do is lift those cheekbones and give us a little bit of dimension. So I'm not going to use a lot today, but I still do want that contoured look and that dimension. Same thing up on my forehead where I normally do my contour. I'm going to go up and just pull that forehead down by giving it a little bit of shadow. Now, keep in mind, this is not a bronzer. A contour has more of a gray tone to it. You can see the difference between the contour and my bronzer. The bronzer is a warmer color to warm up our skin. The contour has more of a gray tone to it, which creates a shadow. So two different things. And again, I'm just going to go under my jawline and just create that nice shadow, which gives us a sharp edge and eliminates any kind of saggy skin. And then I'll just kind of bring it down into my neck. All right, next thing I want to do is my brightening highlight. So I'm going to go in. The brightening highlight is a couple shades lighter than our main highlight, and that's what really brings some pop to the center of our face. So I am just going to apply that right in the corner. And this is the softest brush. This blend brush is so nice. This is the main end I use for my other foundation, and then I'm just using that other smaller end to go in with my brightening highlight. And again, I kind of do the corner and the outside, and then I'm going to just bring those together. And then I'm going to go down the center. And just don't be alarmed. I'm going to blend this all out. I'm not going out like this. And then I kind of just go up like that, down the center, and a little bit here. So what that's doing is bringing the brightness in the center of our face. So our eyes are going to pop. The rest of our face is going to kind of recede back, and we're going to have just a beautiful 3D dimensional look. All right, I'm not blending anything yet. I'm going to go ahead and put on a lip and cheek color. And you can see our lip and cheek colors are universal. That can be used lips, cheeks. I even use them for our beautiful cream eyeshadow. So today I'm going to use a couple colors. I'm going to use one called Hollywood, which is just a beautiful color for summer. And I'm placing that right above the contour. So I'm not going down here to put my blush like we used to. I'm keeping it up here because that's going to give us that lift. And I love this really kind of soft pink. And you can layer up your colors. That's what's really cool. If you want just a touch of ruby, which is a little bit darker shade, you can just pop that there too. Same thing on my lips. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a little bit of Hollywood, which is that kind of light corally pink. And then I'm going to just pop a little bit of ruby. Right over it like that. All right, let's give it a blend. The reason I put all the colors on and didn't blend is because this cream makeup warms with our skin. So we like to get all the product on first and then do our blend. So for blending, this is a great brush. They're all great brushes, quite honestly. These are the most beautiful tools. And when you're buying good makeup, you want the best tools to apply them, right? It's like painting a room and buying really high quality paint and then buying the cheapest roller there is. It's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work as well. So I like to take this is my blush side, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my blush and my contour, and I'm gonna kind of meld those together and lift them. So when you're doing the contour, just remember to kind of buff and lift. We want everything lifting, especially for a mature face. It's all about the lift. I'm gonna go ahead and do my contour up here and kind of bring that into my hairline. And then down here, just kind of swirl that and bring that into our neck. Then I'm gonna go in and do my brightening highlight and my main highlight. Now I'm gonna go back to this blend brush that I used before. This is this really soft brush, and you just need very light touch when you're using this brush. It's just a really nice soft blend. And you can see I'm also taking that brightening highlight and bringing it on my lids. So that way I don't need an eyeshadow primer. I already have one by using my highlight. So there you go. We have some nice bright glow. I'm gonna do a quick and easy little eyeshadow look. I wanna keep this really light and bright as well. So I have a couple colors in here. I'm gonna use Mama, which is a really beautiful matte pink, just a really light matte pink. And I'm gonna do an all over lid color with that, just to give us a little bit of a pretty summer glow. I think peaches and corals are just gorgeous for summer. I love to use those colors. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this all over my lid and almost right up to my brow bone. Again, I have hooded eyes, so I really need to kind of reach up to be able to see that color. So you can see I'm kind of using just a back and forth windshield wiper kind of movement with my brush and just applying that very soft pink. Now this is beautiful on its own. I could go out with just this, but you know me, I like my eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go in and just add a little bit more color. I have this beautiful deep pink called Hija. So I'm gonna kind of put that into the crease and reach up just a little bit higher with that, just to give it a little more depth. Again, just a gorgeous color. So I've kept that darkness at the outside, and we're keeping the inside a little lighter. I like to use a dark shade. This one is called Coal, which is kind of a deep brownish black. I like to use that for a liner. So I don't want to go in with a traditional liner and make a sharp line. I'm just going to go in with my Coal, and I'm using the pointy end of my eyeshadow brush. And I'm just going to kind of run that right under my eyes, and I'll smudge that out in a minute. And then I'm going to also use it on my top lid as well, just like I would a regular liner. So that's going to make my eyelashes up here a little thicker and just line my eye. Okay, so you can see that's just kind of giving it some depth and dimension. And you can even take it, if you want it to wing out a little bit, you can use your shadow as a wing as well. Same thing over here. Go under my eye, create that nice smudgy eyeliner. And I have to pull my eyes because, you know, I have old eyes. And I'm gonna just push that right into my lashes like I would an eyeliner, and I can just take that skinny brush and kind of wing that out as well. And then if you saw in here, I have this beautiful color called Soulmate, which has a shimmer to it. I'm gonna take my ring finger again, and I'm gonna put that right in the center and on my lid. And you can even just kind of tap it into your tear duct area, and it just brings a beautiful shimmer to the center of your eyes. And again, just a soft, pretty little summer look. I'm probably going more than I need to, but I love my eyeshadows. And if I want just a little bit of that summer glow, remember in the first layer I had an illuminator and a bronzer. I don't think I even need bronzer today. So I'm just gonna go in and again with that ring finger, just kind of tap it right here on the highest points of my cheekbone and bring it up there. And if I want, I can kind of just pull it down my nose and my Cupid's bow. And hopefully you can see how that kind of catches the light, and it just gives you a beautiful, beautiful summer glow. And I'm just going to finish up with a little mascara. And today I'm using Thrive. I also have used Sky High by Maybelline, which is a really nice, nice mascara as well. So that just kind of finishes our eyes. So again, with mascara, you probably know this, but you kind of go from the base and kind of wiggle it a little bit. Give it a little wiggle, and that will coat your lashes really well. And I'm going to do both the uppers before I do my bottom lashes. Some people do bottom, some people don't. In the summer, if you're worried about your under eye runny or anything, don't put it on the bottoms. Thrive is one of those beautiful tubular mascaras, so I never have any running or raccoon eyes when I use this mascara. So there you have it. That's your easy summer out the door look. Pretty easy, just used a few brushes. Again, if you want the light coverage, this blend brush is lovely. If you want more of a medium coverage, I love the 3D brush. And if you want just a more full coverage, the buff brush is great. I can't recommend our brushes enough. So if you want any recommendations for colors, brushes, color correction, eyeshadows, any of that, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to help you. Let's talk just a little bit about setting your makeup for summer. So you have a couple of different options. One that I really like is our Stay Spray, and it's a beautiful setting spray. So what I usually do is take a beauty blender and just spritz it on the blender versus on our face. And then what I do is just kind of simply tap around, and this does a couple of things. It's going to set your makeup, and if you have any excess makeup, it will kind of lift that off as well. So this is a nice final step with your makeup. And then if you happen to be just a little bit oily and you want that final set, go ahead and use a setting powder. This happens to be Vanilla Dust. It's a translucent powder. And I like to put that on with my blush and bronzer brush. I simply just kind of swipe into that. And I'll go into the areas that tend to get oily. For me, that would be around my nose, my chin, and right up here in my forehead. So you can just tap in a little powder, and that will give you a great set for all day long. So if you're worried about your makeup staying, honestly, if you use either of those or both of those together, you're going to have great staying powder all day long. So that's basically all you need for a beautiful summer look. Thanks so much for joining me here today at Mature Beauty Studio.